Hi, I'm Kyle, and this is Ask an Engineer, where we answer all of your questions about foundation and concrete repair. And I know you want to know more about that, so let's go. All right, so today we are talking about foundation walls again, and specifically how they are built. This is concrete block. Engineers call this CMU, which stands for Concrete Masonry Unit, but you probably call it cinder block. Anyway, foundation walls were built with CMU for more than 50 years. It was the most popular way to build foundation walls for a very, very long time. And concrete block can be very, very strong if it's constructed the right way. The problem is that for a very long time, many residential basements were built with unreinforced block. And I don't know if you knew this about block, but this is the surface that you would see inside of a basement that's built with CMU. But there are also hollows on the inside of the block, and these hollows are meant to be filled with grout and reinforcing steel. So without that reinforcing steel, it makes a tremendous amount of difference in the amount of strength that your foundation wall will have. And we can demonstrate this with just stacking some loose wood blocks to show you how that looks. So a concrete block wall will separate these with a layer of mortar, and of course we don't have that, but it otherwise performs very, very similarly. And a block wall is going to have soil pushing on it from the outside, and it's also going to have the weight of the home coming from the top. Now the weight of the home is going to give it a state of stress called compression. So that means it's pushing the wall and squeezing it together. The other state of stress that a wall is going to see is tension, and those are those stresses that pull it apart. So, although the weight of the house above puts it in compression, the soil that pushes on the outside of the foundation wall will actually do both things. It will put the outside layer of the wall in further compression, but it takes the inside layer of the wall and puts it in tension, which actually makes those blocks want to pull apart. So since there's all these weak points, these mortar joints, these blocks come apart very, very easily. And you'll actually notice that pushing down on the stack a little bit harder actually holds this wall together a little bit. But it still doesn't take that much force to actually entirely break the wall. So let's see what happens if I change this stack and use something as simple as a piece of wire to reinforce it with. So now we have a block wall that is with the same blocks, but we've added a little bit of steel in the middle. And that steel is going to take that tension force that we talked about before. So again, when the weight of the house is acting on it from above and the soil is pushing on it from the side, it is going to be a whole lot stronger. Now, since most block problems happen with unreinforced wall, let's take this model apart and talk about what those symptoms look like. Okay, so we're back. Here's our unreinforced wall again. And you might have noticed that was actually kind of hard to tear it apart. So pro tip, build it right the first time. All right, but unfortunately, in so many circumstances, so many residential walls were built completely unreinforced, which means it's very common to see signs of distress. And what those look like, as we were saying, was you get separation of these joints. Now this crack is actually going to repeat itself all the way along the length of the wall. So you will often see a long horizontal crack that goes off to the corners and then forms a stair-step pattern to the top and bottom of the wall. So if you're in your basement and you see these symptoms, I'm sure you're wondering, are there ways to fix it? And of course the answer is yes. And the truth is there's actually several ways to fix it. So tune into future episodes of Ask an Engineer and we will dissect each of those methods one at a time. In the meantime, go ahead and drop your questions in the comments section below. Click the like button, click the subscribe button. I'm Kyle and I'm out.